Okay, hi. Hi. This is a video on server configuration. Basically, we are going to talk about where the backend and frontend are deployed, and then like basic stuff on how we have done it. So our backend it's on GCP. So so this is sorry about that. Okay, so this is the GCP. It's in Oliver's account. So this is the one like the one that says betting website. So this is the one that we are using for the front end or the website part of the Horsebot. So for deployment, so for deployment, yeah, for deployment we have simply deployed it as a systemd service and then use Nginx for reverse proxy. The details about this on how like what the tutorial I followed is in the README. So for this, I basically like cloned the repository, right, and then created a virtual environment, and then did the installation. After that, I created a systemd file to automatically so that it can be used to automatically start the server or restart or so that it can also we can enable it so that it runs automatically on reboot and stuffs like that. So for the deployment inside systemd, we are using GUnicorn. The It's a deployment tool for Python programs. Like I found that we can use it for Flask and then Django too. So this is basically the setup file for systemd. Similarly, we also have the reverse proxy setup with Nginx. So I think it's this one. Yeah. So basically, we specified what port we want to open the website in, and then the IP address of our server. So this is the IP address of this current server. So the one where the front end is being hosted. Other than that, we simply add like this add path to the sock file. This sock file is created by the GUnicorn. So the location is specified over here. I'm sure you already know about this. And that's basically it. So for this, we simply use systemd to restart the server. So if I wanted to restart it, I do system ctl restart CUNICURL. So the name GUnicorn it comes from here. So the name of the service of systemd created is GUnicorn.service. So we simply do this. So when we do that, the server will restart. So we'd want to restart server after making changes to the code. For database, we are using like the SQL database in the Oliver's account in GCP. I think I'll get back to that at the end of the video because we are using the same database server for all the projects. So for database, we have a server with around 2 GB RAM and then I think 2 CPUs, right? And then 50 or 100 GB storage. So all the project use the same server for SQL. Since the project is small and then the number of requests isn't that much, the SQL server works pretty fine. Okay, so I think this is all about the front end deployment. Okay, so for the backend deployment, so we have two EC2 instances. Let's go ahead and check on the Amazon AWS console. So okay, if you see over here, okay, so this is the one that you guys are currently using for Boils Sport project, and then these are the two we use for Horse tool. So the first one is the server that we had created earlier, and then like previously we only used to use this server, and then later when there are a lot of combination of horses to bet, we also added this one. So both of the servers have same configuration, and then like the deployment is also same on both of them. So this one, the first one runs half of the websites, and then the second one runs half of the websites. So let's go ahead and quickly check like what's over here. So in this drop, okay, I think I need to refresh this. Okay, okay, we can ignore like the betting automation website on the backend server. Earlier, we did not have two separate servers for front end and back end, so everything was hosted on this side. So it was also sometimes creating problem because the server sometimes crashes due to large number of bits being done, the CPU runs out of uh, resources. So we like deployed this on GCP so that like the websites should always work. Okay, so okay, we I think we can also ignore the one that says bidding automation main. So what had happened is previously when we started the project, we never used Docker. So it was simple Flask API, and then it was done with cron job and then Flask API. But later we experienced a lot of crashes of Chrome browser, so we decided to try Docker. And with Docker, the issue of Chrome browser crashing was solved, uh, but since the cron jobs ran very fast, and then we had to create and destroy containers really quick, the Docker API stopped responding. So currently we are not using Docker, but so this the one that says Betting Automation Docker is the latest project. So other than that, so the logs, the directory called logs, it stores logs for scraper and then the other cron job that we talked about. So I'll get back to this at the end of this video. So for deployment, we simply have the same GUnicorn setup like we did in the previous one, like the website. For that, okay, so let's nginx slash system. Yeah. Okay, so we simply have the similar kind of the system D setup. So for this, we named it automation, and then so yeah, so this is kind of same. And then similarly, we also have the Nginx setup. CSS plus and right, so it also does the same thing. So okay, I think we are not using this Nginx currently because okay, yeah, we are not definitely not using the Nginx now because previously since both of the front end and back end were hosted on the same server, we're using Nginx for the front end, but now it does not work. And yeah, I think okay, that's it. For the that's for the basics of what we have done. And then okay, let's quickly check. Okay, yeah, let's check the cron jobs, right? So we'll get back on this on details later. But okay, so basically, like I mentioned, okay, yeah, I think we need to discuss this. Okay, okay, so, okay, so like the previous project that we worked on, for example, the Jackpot one and the previous one, Gamgee website before that. So all of them had like the environment variable set up, right? And then we use the environment variable to distinguish whether the environment where the code ran was production or deployment. So in our case, we are defining the environment variable inside cron jobs. So here we define environment variable as production so that like when the script is run by the cron job, it will take the production environment and then use the production database and all those stuff. And okay, so we'll get back about the allowed website at the end of the cron job. So yeah, okay, so the first cron job, this one that we see is the bookie bashing website scraper. So the okay that okay, this script scrapes the bookie bashing website. So currently it's set up to run from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. every minute. But when the script runs, like let's say the script starts at 10 a.m. right, the first one happens at 10 a.m. The script runs pretty quickly, so it takes like 10 seconds. So this within inside the same run, the scraping happens like 3 to 4 times. We simply call the same class multiple times so that like the data is as much latest as we can. So this script scrapes this website, right, and then saves it at JSON. And then the second script that we talked about earlier is the runner what one. So what this script does is it checks the database and then like looks for all the websites, right? So it looks for all the websites that have the status turned on. So for each of those websites, it checks all the accounts that have status turned on. So if the status is also turned on for this account and then the bit 365 status is also turned on, then the script runner bot.py will send the request to the API to do the automation. So it will send this username and then bit website ID. Yeah, like yeah, bit website ID. So after that, the API will start running automation from here. So okay, so this is this. Okay, so this one seems irrelevant now, so we can remove it. So previously we were having issues with Docker. That is, the Docker API was responding really slow because we were creating a lot of containers and then destroying it immediately because of the nature of the project. So while we are doing that, we needed to clean the containers really fast. So for that, we earlier we tried like to clean the container every 1 minute. It created more delays, so we tried to do it every 5 minutes, but that still created issues. So we completely removed that. Okay. So apart from that, like we discussed app environment, right? So the other important thing to discuss here is okay. So is the allowed website environment variable. So as we discussed here that there are two servers, right? There are two EC2 servers which run each we, each of them run half of the betting website. So in order to determine which of the website the API site like the server should run, we simply list them inside cron jobs in the allowed websites environment variable. So here we have like one. So we have these websites. We have set up this website to run on this server. So like this 1 2 3 4 5 6, this one comes from, for example, if we check on the bet365 website, we can see the website ID is 1. So this means that bet365 will be run on this server, like the one we are on currently. So same thing. So for example, the whatever website has the primary ID as 8, so that one will run on this server. So this thing is used by the runner bot, right? So yeah, okay. So I think that's pretty much it. Okay, and one last thing is okay. So there is one another scraper called Boost Scraper. It's similar to the Bookie Scraper, right? So in the sense that it scrapes data from the same website, but it scrapes the Boost data from a separate section. So in the horse betting tool, we also have like another small different kind of betting. For that, we use Boost Scraper. I think we are not currently using it for some reason, but this one is over there. So we'll talk about this definitely later. But I think that's pretty much it for the deployment. Uh, I understand like the allowed website part is poorly implemented, and it could probably be done a lot way better. So I think that's pretty much it. Uh, Next, we'll talk about like all the features that we have on the website, right? And then some of the issues that we are currently experiencing, and then we'll move on from there.